war. So, yes, salutations to comrades in arms. I'm just going to make a very, very short presentation. My presentation really is one, to share with you the glide time story and to also look for work. Most of the time, presenters don't tell you that they are looking for work, eh? But me, I'm looking for work today. I'm looking for distributors to distribute in the region. Of note, currently we are distributing into South Africa. We are distributing into Mozambique. We are slightly distributing into Botswana here and significantly distributing into Zambia. But what we want is to have a good footprint. Our story is an exciting story because I think we have been sharing about food, healthy food, but we have not been giving each other solutions. So as Glide Time, I think the issue is we have created solutions of healthy eating. I think those who have tested our products, they have experienced it. This is how we started on a veranda in 2018. And when we were doing this, I left a very paying job. To those who are contemplating to leave their jobs, please do it as quick as possible because there is future on the other side of the tunnel. So these are my comrades. I think for the past 7 years, I've worked with these comrades. These are my AK-47s and my bazookas. So the first one, that one, I was given by my father-in-law on our wedding. So we're doing 8.4 kgs in a day with the first one. And then I went to the second one. We're now doing 50 kgs in a day. And then I went to that one. We're now doing around 200 kgs in a day. And then that one, the last one, we're now doing a total of 450 kgs a day. This has happened over a 7-year period. And now as we speak, this is now the new general that we are now using, which is now doing 30 tons in a day. Yeah, so I think this is a testament that things can grow, right? Gradually, things can grow when you show the determination that is required. And in the process, I think this is some of the complementary of the machines that we are now using to achieve that 30 ton in a day. And my issue today is we have got excess capacity to sustain the region. And I've been rightfully told by a research that was conducted that in the category of healthy granola cereals and oats, currently outside South Africa, we are the biggest in our own right, which is quite exciting. And this is just a run-through of the products that we do, vegetarian products. We do these oats, the cookies. People love their cookies, but what we have just done, we have lowered the sugar, we have added pumpkin seeds. Can I see those who have tried our products before? It's nearly everyone in here. No, that's good. So those who haven't tried, I think you guys are missing out, eh? So I think in a nutshell, these are some of the products that we have. And when we started from that house oven, we were just 4 of us. Now we are employing around 78 people across the Southern African region. And I can confess most of them, around 85% are Adventist. Okay, so I'm just going to play a small video before I leave the stage so that you guys can have an appreciation of the entire factory as it is operating. So we can do 80 packs in a minute. Every millisecond of a pack is coming out. And if you look at our profile, low sugar, high fiber, 0 GMO, no cholesterol, and these are the fundamentals. Currently, people are struggling with diabetes. People are struggling with constipation. people are struggling with acids. And these foods, through the experience that we have had, most of the people who have eaten this food have confirmed that these foods are very good to curb those diseases and even to help. And now, most of it, I've seen there's a new thing called ADHD. Have you heard about it? Where you see children running around like pondi skaters, like pondi skaters. They are too hyper because of the sugar content. And there is what we call child diabetes, right? Our children are now struggling with diabetes because of the food. So as Glide Time, we are just fostering healthy eating, and we've got a booth out there for anyone who wants to interact with our products. Lastly, let me recognize my guru here, my guru Tafazov. Good to see you. Okay, thank you. I'm out.
Thank you so much. Great time. We are going to our next program. Can you please sing me a song while I do this? Praise team, start a song. I want to sort out something here. It's nice to be the MC. Take your time and people just wait. Mr. Motsereganyi Sibolai is an entrepreneur, network marketing leader, and the visionary founder of the unique golden team known for driving community-centric business growth. Sibolai focuses on empowering individuals through strategic leadership, mentorship, and financial literacy initiatives. Under Sibolai's guidance, the unique golden team operates as a high-performance network dedicated to fostering team synergy, personal development, and sustainable wealth creation. Please put your hands together for Mr. Sibolai.
I greet business people, professionals, in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Sitting behind there, during break, I actually came and offered not to do my presentation. He said, I have need to be taught of these people. Why do you come to me? They said, no, you're on the program. Please do what you need to do. I understand we are already running behind time. So I don't the man you are describing, I don't know if I recognize that name. But thank you anyways. Thank you very much. My name is Motse Sibolai. I lead an organization called Unique Golden Team. But essentially, I'm what you might call a serial entrepreneur. And you'll see how one gets to that level because of the two underpinning principles that are driving me. I dabble in a few fields. My core is data analytics, and that's what we're going to be talking a bit about, data. But I have other things, income streams. I think when you read in the book of Ecclesiastes, there's this concept of casting your bread in many waters, casting the seed in many waters. So we have to think beyond being self-employed, owning businesses. When you own a business, you own a system that can work without you. When you are self-employed, when you are sick, the business is sick. So essentially, that's what we'll be encouraging each other. There are two fundamental principles or philosophies that I find that they anchor me. And I would encourage, as I come up here, I'm not talking as one who has succeeded, one who's telling, though I'm a little bit elevated in stature and in life, I'm amongst you. I'm speaking as one brother to another. So much of what I'll be saying to myself more than anybody else. So please don't think it's one who has achieved, telling those that have not achieved, we're just brethren here. It helps to find in this big book that's called the Bible, there are many, many lessons and many, many principles. As you go throughout the Bible, you need to listen to the Holy Spirit, and one principle or more than one principle will speak especially clearly to you. For me, it was two principles. The first one is found in the book of Exodus in chapter 21. This is that chapter that tells about how Hebrews should treat other Hebrews when they have to now make them servants. And it describes a situation where, for various reasons in life, somebody could find themselves in a situation where they can't afford to pay their own way through life, and therefore they have to give themselves as servants or slaves. And in that situation, God directed that relationship to say, look, you can only keep a Hebrew servant for 6 years. On the 7th year, you need to let them go. But we are told that there was a provision where on the 7th year, one who came because they didn't have a choice and became a servant. On the 7th year, when they are released and they are told, now you are free, we are told that there was a situation where one would actually, after packing their bags and leaving slavery, literally and figuratively, they would actually drop their bags on the ground and look back and actually make their way back to the master. And the master asked them, why are you here? You are free to go and do your own thing. Situations forced you to come here, but now you are free to go and do your own thing. Why are you here? And the servant would literally proclaim to say, yes, I came here because of need, because of something that was pushing me. But now I've had a chance to be under this master. I've had a chance to love this master. And now I want to associate myself with this master forever. I want to give away my freedom and become a servant for life. Amen. That's something that I've resonated with. To say we are brought to Christ by different things. Some of us were fleeing witches. We were terrorized by witches, and when we came to Christ, with Christ they will protect you from witches. Some were fleeing from bad habits or this or that. But as business people, how I wish that we could get an opportunity to, after interacting with this master, to do a serious transaction where we are saying, I abandon my plans that I used to have. Now the plan that I have, my number one plan, is to be under this master. So therefore it means everything that I do, everything that I am, I own nothing. It all belongs to him. And in these tough economic times, where we are thinking of surviving, let alone thriving, it means when you've given the title deed of your life and all that you have to the capable master, guess who gets to worry about tough times? It's not the servant. The servant doesn't worry. So I adopted this of servanthood to say I call him my Adonai, and going into business is just a way of serving the master. It's a ministry. The second principle that anchors me around these different businesses is a principle that Jesus told in his last few days. On day 40, day 10 of the month of Nisan, 4 days before he was killed, he said this after that. So this is the day 3 or less. He says, unless a kernel of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. In that, Jesus was giving a secret that I have found personally, and I want to sell to you, to say, brethren, when you have a seed, there are 3 legitimate things you can do with a seed. My brother's been telling us you can eat a seed. Oh, there are pumpkin seeds, good seeds, nutritious seeds that can nourish you. I'll get a commission after doing this, my elder, or at least better prices for distributing. You can eat a seed, and that's a genuine use of a seed. You can store away a seed. That's also a genuine use of a seed to eat later or to use later. But Jesus prescribes what seems to be the most ridiculous option. He says, take this seed that you should have eaten, take this seed that you could have stored, and throw it in the ground. He says, in the throwing of the ground, something will happen. Oh, brethren, many of us, all of us as we sit here, God has implanted something in you. The reason we go into business, it's almost like Jeremiah when we were saying, I have this fire in the bones. You know, it's almost compulsory. God will show you a specific need to say, only you can feel this need. And it's like that fire in the bones that you want to go and help your fellow brethren. And so we'll be exploring how I've adopted these principles into some of my businesses, into some of the ventures that I do. I was having a conversation with my 7-year-old daughter. I said, daughter, you know, when you look at different businesses like this, you think they're very different, that you need to learn about retail and farming and this and that. I said, no, there's only, the businesses have 3 things in common. She was actually saying, Daddy, I want to make some bracelets. I want to give me money so I can make some bracelets. I said, okay, my daughter, this is what you're going to learn. Firstly, you're going to need to learn, for you to say you are in business, you need to have a product. Right now, you are saying you want to do product, you want to do bracelets. What kind of bracelets? Is it the bracelets? Is it necklaces? What do you want to do? Go, and I said to her, when you want to do a product like that, you need to talk to customer. That's the second aspect. For you to say you are in a business, you need to have a product. I said, go find out what you want to do. He says, how am I going to find out? I said, ask your customers. He says, who are your customers? Is it your classmates? Is it your cousins? Are we going to stand by the side of the road? You need to know, who am I making this thing for? And you need to ask them, how should I make it? How should I design it? And then the next thing, my daughter, you need to know, how are you going to get this product to this customer? And I taught her about the channel. 7 years old, you can tell that something is clicking. And I said in that conversation, I said, daughter, we're going to your school, right? This is what I did with your school. One of the businesses that I'm into is providing branding material, including clothing, like shirts and everything that you can think of. We manufacture clothes from scratch. I said, look, this is what I did for you, for your school. I went to your teacher. I realized that winter is coming, but you don't have a tracksuit for school. So I went to your teacher, the principal. I said, principal, I'm in this business where I plant a seed. I find good soil and I plant a seed. This is how I want to plant a seed. I said, principal, how about I get you in touch with my designers so that you design a tracksuit for your school? I will take the expense of that. You'll tell them, the designer, no, do this, do that, do that. I will bear that expense. I won't stop only there, principal. I will also provide you a sample, 2 samples actually, for 2 sizes, so that you can see what the finished product is going to look like. And this is what I'm going to do for you. You see, at this stage, it's just like the seed is dying. You're killing money. This is material. This is labor you're paying people to do this thing. I said, the third thing is, I'm going to give you this tracksuit at a price that is significantly lower than market price. How are you able to do that? Brethren, I love what the brother was just showing us. Production, converting things from the raw form into some finished form. That's a place of easy value addition. Because if you look at it, a lot of the stuff that we buy is produced. It's already finished products. But the machinery for everything. In one of the businesses, we make these bottles. We bottle water. You know this thing. When you buy this water, market price is about 5 pula. The thing that actually makes the bottle is about 2 pula. The thing that makes the bottle is called a preform. It looks like a test tube, if you remember science. It costs about 75 tebe. Once you have a machine that you put this thing in and you press a button, 75 tebe becomes 2 pull, 75 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 2. Brethren, consider what you can produce from its raw form into a finished product. Amen. Consider that. And for the professionals, somebody's thinking, you're talking about business people. You are working for one customer. You have a product and you go to the office. That's your channel. Guess what? You're all in business. Ellen White, when she starts the book, The Patriarchs and Prophets, she essentially says, there's nothing in nature that lives for itself except the selfish heart of man. Whether you like it or not, for you to eat in this world, you have to show value to another person. You have a product. God has put some gifts in you. You have you have customers, people you can serve, and you have a channel how you can reach them. So every single one of us, we're in business, and I know I'm speaking to the converted, but we need to make it our effort for even our children, as small as they are, to keep teaching them, to say to show them how they can actually do that. Now with digital marketing, the world of the digital, you remember we talked about, Jesus talks about a seed. He says you have a seed and you need to sow the seed, throw it to the ground. Now with digital marketing, brethren, in the past you were stuck to your locality. Only the people in your village or in your clan could know about your product. But brethren, we are now in an age where the message of your products, when you are selling these products, my brother, I want us to think in terms, let's have a paradigm shift. Package them in a way that it's about the other person. I'm selling health. I'm selling this. So when I spoke to my daughter, the school that got the 2 samples, they showed the parents the samples. The samples, I was selling to them at 300. Let's call it 300. I was 300. But the market value was around 500. In that 300, I was making my profit. But this is seeds. There's a time for sowing the seed. The school turned around and I said to the school, market price is this much. So what's happening in school is you have an opportunity to add something such that you end up with a price that is still below market price, but the school raises money. What happens to money when it's been raised by the school? Who is it going to serve? My own daughter. And so the school now saw this opportunity. The school raised it to 450. So now the transaction has changed. Where my competitor is coming to say, I'm selling a tracksuit. For me now, the school is saying, I'm making money from this man. Who now wants to push this business? It's the school. I've converted the school to now be my biggest salesperson because they see what's in it for them. Brethren, when it comes down to it, there are just 2 principles that are at war. The principles of selfishness. I will be like the Most High. I, my, and the other-centeredness business. If you go into business, we can go in and preach this other-centered message. So digitally, we can now preach this message beyond your borders. Now, we quickly learned that not only do we need to be seed inspectors, prayerfully see what has God specially gifted me with. We also need to be soil inspectors. There were some instances where we plowed into soil that wasn't good soil. We need to also be wise in terms of knowing the good soil. What are some of the conditions not be afraid to fail. You know, there's a man, one of my favorite chapters in the Bible is 2 Samuel 23, David's mighty men. And one of my favorite guys is Benaiah, the son of a valiant man from Kabzeel, who chased after a lion into a pit and he killed it on a snowy day. Do you think you can go after a lion and jump into a pit and kill it and not have scars? When David sent out an advert looking for the one who will be the commander of his personal guard, many people submitted their applications. I have a PhD in military knowledge. I have a master's in this and that. And there was a man who said, with a picture, a scarred man, who said, I got these scars after I chased the lion into a pit and killed it on a snowy day. Brethren, we need to be parents and leaders of our young people who get scars. Scars are a sign of somebody who has done something. There's too many fresh-faced Adventists around. When you see somebody so fresh without a scar, just know that this person has not tried anything. You have to have Christ, God being God. There's many seeds. We are not just given one seed. Try this. If it doesn't work out, try something else. I was lucky to have grown up with a father who tried. I can't say he succeeded in the world, in the way the world looks at. But you don't know what it does to a child. To watch a father, to watch a mother go out there. Things are tough. They pray about it. They go out there. You don't know what it does. So right now when I take my knocks, I say, no, this is dad went through this. This is normal. So Benaiah was the son of a valiant man. Valiant children will come from valiant parents. Coward parents will raise coward children and coward grandchildren. We will raise a generation of cowards because we don't want to have scars. So as you are doing your business, data is data about your business. Elder Muhudi was telling us that, look, you need to have data about what's happening in your business. As you are communicating digitally like this, that's one side of communication. You need to also be listening to customers. Customers can speak in one of two ways. They can speak directly and give you feedback about this product or that product. Or customers will show you by their action. You have 5 products. 1 is being bought, 4 are not being bought. That is not an opinion. It's a fact. Stick to the one that's being bought. So you need to have an appreciation of data to say, and the elder was saying that you need to keep data so that you can find trends to say which product is being bought, which customers are buying it, which channel is performing the most. So if you don't have some sort of analytics, you need to start recording because you can't learn from what you don't record. They were saying it much better than me. So you need to keep, as you are nurturing, you've planted the seed, it's growing. As you are nurturing these roots, you need to be keeping track of what's going on in the business, measuring the environment, this feedback loop from customer to you and you to the customer. The fruit that you want, we want to redefine success in the slide. We have two axes. One is saying your business could either be self-centered or other-centered. The second parameter says, how are you engaging your customers? You know, some businesses are just based on transactions. How are you going to minister to customers who you don't only come once? The opportunity, the window, your ability to influence somebody that you see just once is much lower. So the ideal situation is we want to build business models that are based on generosity, that are based on relationship. Right now, with that school that we started with, do you think there's not going to be new students next year? Do you think they are not going to want a t-shirt? What about socks? What about a school hat? But what they know is whatever we come up with that we want, this is something we're going to generate income with. How we measure our businesses is simple. How much money have we made for our customers? How much money have we saved for our customers? If you keep growing this number, you don't need to worry about your compensation. Because the way the model is built, as long as you make them money, You built it in such a way that there's a compensation that you get. So now, how much money do you want to make? Turn the question around. How much value are you willing to make? So then you have that secret. The ultimate fruit. We're talking about thriving and leaving a lasting impact. At its core, brethren, there is an opportunity to preach in a daily way. I was presenting something to a government institution where in that deal, I was helping them solve a problem. And in solving the problem, I was going to foot the bill for buying equipment that will help them solve the problem. I was going to bring the expertise to help solve the problem. And I was going to say, look, at this stage, it's free for you, government. But then I'm going to find private companies that will want to come and do some things in the space that we've created. They will pay for this thing. And for that, you are also going to get a cut. And they say, why are you doing that? And I read them John 12:24. I say, verily, verily. As long as a seed remains in the pocket, it remains alone. But if I take this money and I put it in solving your problem, I'm going to make money for me, and I'm going to make money for you, and I'm going to solve problems for the society. That's a win, win, win. Brethren, that is a sermon. That is a sermon. Every single day, you're competing. And here's the last thing that I mentioned.